Sunday public meeting. Good morning, everyone. Sorry. Welcome, everyone, to our Sunday public meeting. My name is Juliana. I'm a volunteer for the group since 2011. We have changed to the online platform due to the circumstances of the pandemic. So we've been every Sunday here. Today I'm going to talk about a book, that Jesus in the Home, that was psychographic by Chico Xavier, by the Spirit Neo Lúcio. So just before we begin, I'll start our initial prayer. So if I can ask you to sit comfortably, close your eyes, connect to the spiritual world, connect to your guardian angel, to the spirituality. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. I'd like to ask permission to our spiritual the spiritual guardians of our group to start their speech today. May they be guiding myself and enlightening their speech. I also would like to ask that the speech today may touch everyone's heart, and the words be said today that may be only for our spiritual guardians. Thanks again. So be it. Okay, everyone. So we're going to start. I'm going to share the screen, so you're going to see only this screen. And I'm going to start talking about. Okay, so there we go. Now, our speech today, as I said, it's about Jesus at home, in the home. It's about, that's the subtitles, it's at the beginning of the book, and it says, when the gospel enters the home, the soul opens the door to divine master more easily. And it's really important, and gonna explain. From this speech today, I'm gonna take just two stories, two parables that Jesus taught to the disciples. And at the time of the teachings, it was so many teachings, since it started at Simon's house, preaching and teaching and everything. So not everything was cataloged, but most important, of course, was cataloged in the Bible. So Jesus in the home. I think for most scholars, Christ is simply a historical figure who changed the course of the world political events, which is true, For theologians, he is simply an object of study found in the scriptures, the Bible, someone who gave a new direction to the interpretation of faith. For philosophers, he is the focus of endless argument. And for the multitude of passive believers, he is the providential benefactor during the troubling crisis of everyday life. Jesus, just as God, is the one we seek when we most need it. Of course, it's for us Christians who believes in God and Jesus Christ. However, when people grasp the grandeur of the good news, they understand that the master is not only the reformer of civilization. It's not just the reformer of civilization. It's the lawgiver of faith, the guide for one's reasoning, and the grantor of early favors. But more than anything else, the renewal of everyone's life. Just gonna make sure that I have all the messages here. So, okay, yes. Stefan just told me that it's all okay because I'm doing a presentation, and I see only my presentation. I don't see any messages or anything. So anything you have to ask, you can ask on the chat, and Stephen will be answering on the chat. Okay. So feel free to ask if you want to. So back to our presentation. So Jesus for us is Spiritist. We take Spiritism from more the philosophical, scientific side of it. For the Jesus teaching, and the Spiritist book is the one that actually proves prove the philosophy and science, his teachings, and how it is possible. In Spiritism, we don't think science is separated from religion. So that's why Spiritism is more scientific, philosophic, and it is. Jesus brought us the good news, as was for us, he's the first Son of God. And so it's not unreformed. It was so important that the whole Western world divide history before, and after he was born. So that's the grandeurs for the Western world, So he brought faith, he brought good news. The good news, it means like the news that we're going to be happy. We have we're going to become happy. And when Spiritism came, he actually tried to debug and connect all the dots from what he said. So in here, back to the book, Jesus in the Home, that was psychographic by Chico Xavier and dictated by the spirit Neo Lucio. He talks about parables that Jesus taught his disciples. I'm going to take on 2 stories of this one that they are very good. It's very good for our daily. So I'm going to start with the first story, which is about Christian worship in the home. It's a conversation between Jesus and the disciples at Peter's house. So one day, as many other teachings, that's how the teachings, Jesus' teachings, happened. Was really informal. It was just a gathering, at the night after work, everyone gathering together and talk about parables, stories, and there is always a lesson to be learned. So this is a lesson. So what's the conversation? Jesus said, Simon, what does the fisherman do before he goes to the market with the day's catch? So Simon said, well, of course, he chooses the best fish. No one would buy the other ones, the ones that are not good. And the potter, what does he do when he wants to make a piece? He molds the clay. Oh, I wrote the day. Sorry about that. He molds the clay and gives it the form he wants. And what does the carpenter do to accomplish the project he proposes? He planes the wood, so makes plan, and then he uses the adze, which is a tool, to work on the woods. The saw, it's that one to make smooth, and the hammer and the chisel. Otherwise, he could not shape an unformed piece. So they all have to work. They all have to separate the good. They all have to mold or to do something to become good, to become better, to become sellable. So with this one, he said, Christian worship in the home is the same. This may also be said of the home. The home is the first school and the temple of the soul. The home is the true exporter of individuals' communal life. It's a home where we learn to live in society. In the old times, children would learn you have to behave in a certain way. And it looks like tradition or something. Yeah, it is tradition, but there is also a way that we live. Of course, I'm not, getting here if what was right or wrong. It's just that at home, the way we live, is the first. So we have to bring Jesus at home. The lesson of this one is, if you do your work, you have to own your work. You have to do many things to make it sellable, to make interest, to make beautiful, to make things, especially at that time, all the labor was not, industrial revolution wasn't a thing at the time of Jesus. It was all manual labor. So that's why he used these stories to talk about of their daily lives. So one was fisherman. Jesus himself was a carpenter. He learned from his father the carpentry. And so many things. So the manual labor was something that you had to do. So he said, if you have on your work, do things in a certain way, so it can be producible, it can be sellable or something. Is the same. Bringing Jesus at home is the same at home. When you are at home, your habits, this will mold your children. They mold the vibration of the home as well, depending on what what you're connecting with. So it's not just doing a good work, but as I said, home is the first school and temple of the soul. It's a home where we nurture our soul, where we bring Jesus, we bring God, or any spiritual beliefs that improves us, So for us Christians, it's Jesus and God, of course. For others, for the religions or their beliefs, But it is important. Home is the most important place. And I remember, for example, like sometimes a very, very example. Sometimes we watch films or we do things at home that it kind of break the good vibrations, Films, and I'm not talking about, terrible films, but like a horror film or a real action movie will kind of break because whenever you're watching film, you're feeling that one, you with the film, with the movie. Of course, after finish the movie, that's it, switch off, go to do my things, But this is just a small, and don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying you should not watch action movies or, horror movies or anything. It's just that because you connect with that vibration, you bring that vibration to your home. And usually, especially this year, we're doing lots of things at home. So it is important to nurture our soul. How do you nurture our soul? We call the gospel at home, once a week, or your prayers, keeping your vibrations, your emotions, trying to get rid of lower levels emotions, angriness, bitterness, selfishness, those things. This is how we nurture our home, trying good thoughts. And it is as simple as that, You don't need to be doing like something like, oh, I have to pray every day, I have to do this, that. No, it's something that you can do naturally because you're elevating your vibration, That's, when we talk about Christian worship in the home, is about elevating the vibrations, how we elevate the vibrations with our thoughts. Our thoughts are the most important, most powerful thing to bring us good to God and more near to God. Our thoughts, we're gonna think more, instead of hate, let's gonna think about love. Instead of selfishness, let's gonna think about fraternity, Always look this side of the other, putting on other shoes, comprehend what is. So those small things, you nurture your home to be closer to Jesus and God, And again, I'm not saying here that we need to do. Some people need it. Some people, it's good if you can, or if you feel that you need, to have a pattern. It's of doing something. So I'm gonna do a gospel at home once a week. This is really good. Of course, this is not just going to be the only thing you can bring, because you can do once a week your gospel at home, but all the other days you're not vibrating on that day. But it does help. But if this help, this at least from that moment to vibrate, is do it. You have to do in the way it's better for you to elevate your vibrations, to connect with the spiritual world, your meditation, your gospel at home, your Bible reading, anything, anything that makes you elevate, even watching a movie more with more vibrations. So that is the most important thing, Remember, it's always between you, Jesus, and God. It's not what you show to others, what you do. It's between you and them. There's no other medium term or anything. It's always between you, Jesus, and God. So that was the lesson for the Christian worship at home. The next one I'm gonna take, I don't remember how many, and they have quite a few, but they are very short, very easy reading. This one, Jesus in the Home. You can see the book as well. I think it's sellable in Amazon or anything. And again, I'm taking only 2. So the next one, I'm gonna talk about the inconstant work. Just before talking that, I'm not trying to sell the book, please. It's just that we don't sell the books or anything. So if for any reason you're interested, you have to go yourself and look in Amazon or somewhere else. I'm not doing any advertisement here. Anyway, so the next parable is again a Jesus teaching, in one of the house or at night, sitting with the disciples, talking about stories, and all the stories they have lessons. So he thought on that day to talk about the inconstant worker. So the story starts here. A certain man encountered the light of divine revelation and felt a burning desire to live among the angels of heaven. It's like a revelation or something, he felt, if I want to live with the angels of heaven, I want to get better, I want to be better. So he begged the Father so much for this blessing that through inspiration, the Lord handed him over to the perfecting process that would lead him to the proposed goal. So it's not because I want to be with the angels of heaven that I'm gonna get it. I have to earn it. No one goes to heaven without earning it. And it's not because God is like punishing, or no, because you have to be a good boy, good girl, or good, no, it's not this. You have to learn. It's a path of learning. So you're earning because you're learning, and this path takes a lot of time. It's through many, many, many reincarnation we go and perfecting our spirits. And when we say perfecting, it's, evolving spiritually, being less attached to material things, being more selfless, So this is a long way. But then at that time, the disciples were not ready to understand this. So for them, probably Jesus introduced, and I know that some people who doesn't know the Spiritism may find, but Jesus introduced the reincarnation, the things in reincarnation. You have to come back again, but probably for political reasons, things from the Bible were taken on a certain different way. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about this. Let's gonna go back to the inconstant worker. So this inconstant worker begged for the Father to get enlightenment, to get better, so what God gave, yes, you're gonna do as He does to everyone. Here's what you have to do. So he handed him over the perfecting process that would lead him to the proposed goal. So again, it's not I want, I get it. So I'm gonna just. He was led to work in a precious marble with an old master. So this guy. However, he quit shortly thereafter, claiming that he couldn't submit himself to such a gruff and intractable man. The conditions were not good for him, so he left. Hence, he moved to the old craftsman. So he moved onto a workshop where wooden implements were produced under the guidance of an old craftsman. But he also abandoned this line of work before long, allaying that he was unable to bear the old man. Okay, as always, as many chances as we need, we're gonna receive, Next, he was employed under the supervision of a well-known worker specialized in building Greek columns. But it wasn't long before he left the job too, stating that he couldn't handle the demands. I can imagine, a great column is not something that you do easily. They are massives. They are, massive piece that you have to sculpt. And all in the time of sculpting and molding and things. So he went to work to an experienced builder of festive arches. But at the end of 1 week, he forsook his commitments there, stating that he found his boss to be too impetuous and unreachable. So, from there, he went to work for a maker of fancy chests. But he left after a few days, under the pretext that the man was inhuman and cruel individual, which I could believe so. There wasn't a time that, working rights, or, law and things were. So it could be, yes, but our lesson here, it's another one. So through all the lives, the inconstant worker, from workshop to workshop, what he found: error, malice, persecution in everyone that was guiding him. So one day, of course, he passed away, and back to the spiritual world. And he meets this angel, the guardian angel, and the guardian angel asks him, "Friend, why did you prepare yourself according to the mandates of heaven?" And he answered, "I found only exigency and hardness in the leaders of the human struggle." Then he said, "If you avoided the little jobs of the world, alleging that those men were incapable and unworthy of leading, how will you be able to understand heavenly services? And what does the carpenter do to accomplish?" He found error, malice, and persecution in everyone that those guided him, because he was not open to this, and of course, I'm not saying here about, work that's analog to slavery or anything. This is a deeper lesson. It's not from what you do, but in your life. In your life, you're gonna find error, malice, persecution. You're gonna find lots of obstacles. Those obstacles, most of the time, will probably put there for you to evolve to, and it's not to test, it's for you to learn. Every error that we commit, we learn from it. We know that's why we are here on earth. We are in a transitional world, but we're still in the tests and atonements. We need to kind of learn through suffering, and I'm not saying, please don't get me wrong, saying, I'm not saying that, there is work, or there is things that it's not right here on earth. There is a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that shouldn't be happening, but sometimes we see ourselves suffering so much or something. It could be this is for learning, for our own learning. And I don't want to generalize, because each individual is unique. It's so unique as an individual. It's also unique the way you plan your reincarnation, what you're going to do on your earth. And remember, we asked those things. And when in the Bible we hear God doesn't give in a bigger burden than cross than you can carry, it's the burdens you take in this life were carefully planned for you. You plan that for you to evolve. So that's why the angel says, the angel says, if you avoided the little jobs of the world, alleging that those were incapable or one worth of leading, how would you understand a bigger one, which is the heavenly service? We know the heavenly service it's well, I've never been there, definitely, because I'm here still learning. But as much as you evolve morally, spiritually, it's more work you're going to do. It's more work on behalf of the others you're going to do. It's not something that you lie on, sit, and everything's happy. You find happiness helping the others. It's much more work. I hope you was able to do it. So, blessed is the hand of the instruct. Blessed is the hand that instructs and corrects. But even more blessed are those who allow themselves to be shaped under its renewing and perfecting touch, because the masters of the world always object to learning from others' masters. But the work of the good, when accomplished by all, remains forever. So blessed is the hands of it is the hand that instructs and corrects. I know sometimes it's bitter, sometimes we pass things that it's really, 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 and I'm here not, generalizing. There is there is traumas that people pass in the world, and I'm not minimizing this, and never saying that is something you plan to, because not always goes according to the plan. That's something we also know, we plan and we try to get through exactly the way we plan, but not always, So, but sometimes it's just to also have a look on the other side. I know it's bitter to me. It's difficult to me. It's difficult to me to stay at home this year. It's difficult to me to not socialize or anything, but there is something bigger around this. We doing this because really there is something that it's killing people that are at risk. It might not kill me, but it kills someone, because I carry this. I'm the vehicle of transmission that goes to one until gets to this. So that's why sometimes it's not easy to see the bigger picture. And that's what we need to do. There's things that happens that it's for us, to put us on the right direction. That's why in the Bible it says that when God writes, I'm not going to be able to quote this correct as it's written in the Bible. I'm probably going to be translating from what I read in the Bible in Portuguese too. But he writes in different lines, in different ways that we are actually able to understand, and everything's carefully planned. So the parable of inconstant work is not about your job on what you do on your daily basis, about your life, what you do with your life, your learning, the things that you pass, and you were able to learn for that, you know. And the other thing, our closest family member are most often the hammer or saw we can use in building the living and sublime temple by which heaven will manifest in our soul. Heaven will manifest in our soul. That's important. Heaven is not something that is up above, it's inside us. We can make our hell and our heaven, you know. So sometimes we come in a family that we don't like. Oh my God, yeah. I just remember fighting with my sisters. Today, I talk to them. I love them. It's something we learn. Of course, again, I'm not minimizing really bad thing that happens in the family. Not minimizing at all. But there is things. Sometimes we have, why this person? I remember there was a time we were passing for bad difficulty, and one of my sisters was deep in drug abuse, and she wasn't behaving herself. My mother was the one who actually, my mother was the one who suffers most, because she was always there trying to get her out of. And it's really hard. If anyone passes for that or knows in the family, the whole family suffers. And I remember saying that's why she doesn't die. She's causing so much suffering in everyone, because it's not just her. It's that, and that was the fault. Today I know that we needed. It was something that, thanks God she didn't, because she was able to come out of this and to be the wonderful person she is today, So, and all the things she learned and we learned as well. It was really, really difficult at that time. And I really felt I couldn't take this. It was too much. I spent, I think, 2 years without talking to my sister. And because of, the way she behaved when she had the problems with drug abuse. So it was really, really, really difficult. But we passed that, And again, I'm not minimizing this. It's just an example of my own experience. Every experience, everyone will have a different experience or anything. But today, looking back at that, I understand why we passed through this. That's something this for our family, we need it. We need to pass. And we didn't need to have any explanation or anything. We all understood that we needed to do. So this is the most important. Sometimes members of family can be painful. Yes. But it's something that you might understand if you give it time, and try always to help. Sometimes in our life, we are going to get really, really, really difficult tasks, difficult things that we have to work, but being resilient and trying to understand exactly the other side will help you pass this, will help you overcome this difficult part. So it is really, really, really important when we, getting our atonements in life for this reincarnation, that we have a time for us to actually think about, how this could be a lesson for me. How can I overcome it? And of course, ask help from friends, family, professional, that's really important. Because if you don't ask help, sometimes you're not able to live. And whenever we are in a position of suffering, depression is it's a big thing. It's sometimes, it's most of the time someone with deep depression, they can't leave it, because it's the cycle, it's already there. It's a vicious cycle that you're always going around. You get better and then you go down now, up and down. And it's hard to find. So if you don't ask for help, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay, because this is all atonements that we have to pass. We may not understand because we plan in the spiritual world. We plan everything to be perfect in the way, but you're gonna plan things like, I have a problem. I'm gonna have a problem with my arm because I remember I done things that shouldn't be doing. I don't want to give examples very specific, because from the specificness we can generate, which is not. Again, each person, as unique they are, their reincarnation, for that reincarnation will be unique just as the next one and the next one, the next one. We always have to come back to try to build our path to heaven. Remember, heaven, it's going to be a very joyful and happy, but it's different from what we think happiness is today. Happiness today is not procrastination, for example. It's not being happy sitting doing nothing. The heavenly walk, it's much more work than we think. So it is a path as well for our happiness, although we suffer, the bitterness or anything. So I hope I was able to talk a little bit about. I chose those two because they're very good from this book. There are so many lessons, very good, but there are two things that it applies a lot to me. The things, bringing Jesus at home, making our, I have children, so it's something important to me to make sure that my family, and I'm not saying, I'm that person, with high vibration and light, and no, I'm not. The reason that I keep going, I need Jesus at home, because exactly, I'm not this so enlightened person. I need this. I need much more. And the instant constant worker as well. It's very good because of the life. Sometimes I pass for things that I thought it was really difficult, but then when I always think about this, there is always someone worse than what I'm doing. Then it helps me. Helps me. Because I'm aware that there is people who suffer a lot more than I do. So it helps me be more resilient, and see the lessons I learn. And there are two paths to our happiness, to our heaven inside us. So I hope you like this meeting, this conversation. I just gonna do an ask here, so I can see more the meetings. Thank you very much. Let me stop sharing. Thank you very much for being here today with us. I'm gonna do my final prayer. If you want to sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Connect to the spiritual world, to your guardian. Ask themselves today the blessings of the heaven. Ask your guardian angels to help, to go through all you need to make heaven inside you. Ask your guardian also to help you understand when you are in a difficult position. Ask them to help you, to help overcome, to be more resilient. Ask them to leave this vicious cycle. We probably will be, Ask. You shall ask, shall be given. Those are the things that we should ask always, never material things, but Yes, friends, help to become better ourselves, Always. Remember that it's always gonna be between you, Jesus, and God. Competition to be better, it's between you and yourself. Nevermore. So thank you very much for everyone being here. Thank you for our spiritual guidance, our spiritual guardians, and I hope everyone have a blessed week. So be it. Thank you very much. Oh, just before we go, one more thing. Our meetings. Our meetings, it's easy. I'm just gonna bring here quickly my presentation again. Just to go through. Oh, and I forgot to say about the bibliography, but I talked about the book so much, so it was just about those two parables from Jesus in the Home by Spirit Neo Lucio, psychographic by Chico Xavier. And we have our public meetings. As I said in the beginning, the beginning of the speech, we moved online, and our public meetings every Sunday, 11:15. It's a Facebook Live, so on our Facebook page. We have a talk show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:15 p.m. And we have our study group every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is via Zoom meeting. So if you want to get to participate this study group, you can send an email to spiritistireland@gmail.com or a message on our Facebook page. And then we send you the Zoom meeting details to join. It's free and it's open to everyone. So with further ado, thank you very much for coming today, and I hope you have a nice week ahead. Bye-bye.